the Indian currency hit another record low against the dollar, this time crashing below the 56 mark. The rupee has fallen for 5 straight sessions and is now turning into a big headache for policymakers who have been unable to cap the currency's fall. Traders say the Reserve Bank of India did intervene today but has not been aggressive enough. The rupee fall below symbolically significant 56 mark becomes on the back of Eurozone crisis. That's prompted global risk aversion and is having a big impact on India's widening current account deficit. The rupee finally closed at 56 to the dollar at the end of the trading day. Let's actually take the discussion forward with our expert, Mr. K. Ende. He's the director of Basics Forex, who's joining us on the line from Mumbai. Sir, good evening and thanks for joining us. Today, we saw some significant weakness coming in and new lows being made as far as the rupee-dollar pair is concerned. From these levels, where do you really see the rupee head in the near term?
Hi, Ajay. Good evening. Well, honestly, I didn't expect the rupee to fall so fast today to 56 plus. In fact, it is very difficult to tell you which level the rupee will hit. Maybe 56 and a half, 57. It's very, very difficult. But I sincerely hope the rupee should correct back, because the way it's been falling from February first week from 48.60 to 56 today 20. In my last 32 years of my currency, I've never seen such a way the rupee has been hammered. So I sincerely hope the rupee should correct back, maybe from 56 this levels onwards.
All right, Vijay Bhamwani, who's the author and CEO of BSPL India, also joins in the studio. Later, we'll also be getting Mithil Kotecha, who will join us from Hong Kong. He's also heading the Credit Agricole, the Forex strategy. Vijay, come to you first. Which side of the trade have you been? As Mr. Day was telling, this kind of weakness was not really expected. Have you been riding the downside as far as the rupee is concerned?
Yes, Ajay, day before yesterday, we were discussing on the show that the rupee, should it fall below the 54.40 levels, will see an accelerated decline. And yesterday, I actually gave a level of 56.40 to 56.50. I would still bet that the rupee is heading towards 56.40 or 56.50 band, and that too in the absolute near term, which is not very far away from here. I think what is clear that the momentum is still with the long dollar short rupee players, and there definitely would be some corrective activity seen here. But as far as the absolute near term is concerned, I think the rupee is likely to remain under pressure.
Let's get in a bit of a macro opinion also. Mithil Kotecha, who's head of Forex strategy at Credit Agricole, joins us on the show. Mithil, most Asian currencies have also been under pressure because of the Greece concerns, apart from the local over here. And then there is the Fitch downgrade also coming in. What is the impact of these latest concerns, especially your outlook on Asia?
Well, the situation for Asian currencies, as you say, has been more vulnerable. There's been capital flight from the region, a general increase in risk aversion, which has weighed against investing in emerging market assets and currencies. And therefore, we have seen quite a significant amount of weakness in very highly sensitive, highly vulnerable Asian currencies. I think the situation will remain very, very sensitive in the coming weeks and possibly months. I don't see a rapid recovery for Asian currencies in the meantime. And those currencies that are highly sensitive to risk, such as Korean won, will remain quite vulnerable to further weakness. So again, the outlook is still one of weakness. A lot of it is from external factors, but we have to also admit that domestic fundamentals in Asia are also deteriorating to some extent, where the external positions are weakening, growth outlook is deteriorating, and therefore, again, there will be risk of further pressure for Asian currencies.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Day, come to you. Most of the opinion actually coming in that there could be a little more downside on the domestic currency, at least in the near term. At Basics Forex, what are you advising your clients? Where would you, really advise traders to position themselves at these levels, which to many have been quite, surprising and quite swift as well?
Well, Ajay, honestly, we don't trade in currencies. We do advise corporates on how to manage their FX risk. But if the currency fall in one-way traffic, it becomes very difficult to advise clients. But as of today, I am advising exporters to keep hedging their receivables rather than holding them back for expectations of getting 57, 58. Those exporters who have got the deals at 50, 51, 52, if they're getting today 55, 56, 57, I think they should hedge their exports. Hopefully to see if the rupee corrects back to 55 or maybe 54.5 to take some imports cover. But as of now, we are covering near-term, very, very short-term imports, and we are covering our exports.
Mithul, the rupee has actually hit a record low for 5 straight days. What, according to you, is affecting currency, and would it be India-centric issues more or more of global issue which is creating a panic?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors. We have domestic political issues, the fact that there is concern about reforms, concern about structural issues, the fact that the fiscal and current account deficits are not improving, means that the rupee is more vulnerable at a time when global risk aversion is increasing, and that certainly is the case at present. So I wouldn't blame this all on Greece or external factors. The rupee has already been weakening prior to what has been taking place in Greece in recent weeks, and all that's happened is that the problems in Europe have exacerbated the weakness of the rupee. So again, I think although we have seen some steps by the authorities in India, I don't think it's going to be sufficient to prevent a further weakening of the rupee in coming weeks and months.
Vijay, come to you. You track even the global factors affecting the rupee quite closely. And in the last half hour of trade, we did observe that after making a low of 56.22, the rupee actually recovered and went all the way to around 56 level to shut shop. And right now the Brussels meet is also going on. What is the near-term outlook impacting, especially from the European Union news flow, could impact the rupee?
Ajay, what is clear is that to the traders, this is a kind of a free playing ground, because the RBI refuses to stepping in any significant manner, and that basically tells the rupee bulls that they have a free hand. And as far as the rupee is closing on a lower level on a day-on-day basis, they are coming up in shorting the rupee at the open, and sure enough, mark-to-market profits are ensuring that long dollar short rupee trade is going their way. You're right about the last 20-25 minutes of trade, which saw the rupee stabilize somewhat, and the 56.40 to 56.50 band is a very critical juncture, technically speaking, chartically. And unless the rupee sinks below the 56.5 forcefully with a great deal of expansion and open interest and traded volumes, I think there could be a technical rebound. And what you are seeing is an early attempt by the rupee bulls to basically try and stem the rot, if you will. But I think from the European point of view, it's very clear that the panic that is being seen there on the banks, the kind of nervousness that the traders are observing, that's being reflected to a very small degree. I would not say that there's a mirror effect here yet, but to a small degree there is a little bit of a panic here, and the already weak rupee is taking a badgering even further.
Right. There was some kind of intervention which was observed by the RBI in at least first hour of the currency trade in the morning. But Mithul, the steps taken by RBI, do you think they are enough to support the rupee? And according to you, what should the authorities be doing right now?
Well, it's very difficult. I think there could be other measures. We've already seen some measures to try and slow or at least stem the weakness of the rupee. But when they are faced with such significant pressures, such as a scramble domestically by corporates, for instance, wanting to, who are unhedged to some extent, wanting to buy dollars, there is a sense that almost of panic in the rupee market. The simple fact is as well that some of the growth indicators are worsening. So fundamentally, the problem is that the pressure on the rupee will continue. I would argue, though, that the rupee does look overly weak and is reaching levels which in the medium term will offer much, much better value. There are signs that foreign investors or foreign rupee investors would want to start to buy rupee around current levels, but I just think that perhaps we may see a little bit more weakness before that is the case.